Hi there. I'm so glad that we can join together for a collective worship again today. Let's welcome each other with peace to begin. Peace be with you. Now, whilst you get yourself comfortable and get your mind ready for a time of reflection, I'm going to light our virtual candle. So the other day at church, I learned that the United Nations, which is the organisation that brings together all the countries in the world. So the United Nations has a World Water Day, and that day is the 22nd of March. I didn't know that. And in church, we learned all sorts of interesting information about water. And I thought that was so good that I was going to share some of that information with you today. So there's a special day to celebrate water. What's so great about water? Well, just think of all the types of water in the world. There's river water, there's rainwater, there's salty seawater, and there's clean, fresh water that comes out of our taps. Do you enjoy drinking water? It's really good for you and keeps you healthy. Just a simple glass of water like this one is good for you. And if you don't get enough water, you get dehydrated. And if you get really dehydrated, your brain doesn't work very well. And the organs in your body don't do their job. And you start to feel, well, generally a bit rubbish. And you need to have a drink of water. And if you don't have water for days and days, well, you could even die. So something as simple as this glass of plain water keeps us alive and keeps us healthy. But of course, you don't have to drink just plain water. You could drink flavoured water. Maybe your favourite is blackcurrant or summer fruits, or do you prefer orange? My favourite way of drinking water is to make it into a cup of tea. That's the best way, I think, of drinking lots of water, and I drink lots of cups of tea. But we don't just use water for drinking, do we? We use it for washing our hands, and we've learned how important washing our hands is. And we use water for having a shower and for flushing the loo. And all these things help keep germs and viruses away and help us stay nice and healthy. And what else? Well, we need water to keep our clothes clean and water to keep our houses clean. And we use water to wash our vegetables and fruit before we eat them and before we cook them. And then we use water quite often to cook our food as well. And then, of course, we use water to do the washing up after dinner as well. And we use water to get some exercise. How many of you enjoy going swimming? There's lots of people in Richmond that swim with the club and swim 3 or 4 times a week. That's a lot of water in a swimming pool, isn't it? And it's not just people that need water to stay healthy. Even tigers need a drink. Birds and animals need water to stay alive. And plants, they need water too. Even plants that live in the desert need a little bit of water. So without water, there wouldn't be any plants and there wouldn't be any crops to grow for food. So you can see water is really important. And in this country, we do have lots of water because it rains so much. And in this country, we also have clean, fresh, safe water coming out of our taps. And that's because we have people that work in the sewage industry, and they take our dirty water and they treat it and clean it at water treatment plants, and they make it safe for us to use again. Maybe if you've walked along from the station in Richmond, you might have smelt the water treatment plant. Those people that do that job, they're doing a good job, aren't they? And so we know that because those people have done a good job at the water treatment plant, that when we pour a glass of water out of our taps, it is clean and safe to drink. As we talked about in collective worship the other week, not everyone in the world has clean, safe water. 2 billion people in the world. That's a lot of people. They don't have a safe supply of water in or near their house. And 771 million people don't even have access to basic drinking water. And then even more people, that's 2.3 billion people, don't have water and soap in their houses to wash their hands at home. And even more people again, 3.6 billion people, live in housing without safe sanitation. So there's no safe toilet for them to go to in their house or near their house. Just think about this. Across the world, 1 school in every 3 doesn't have basic water and toilets and facilities to wash their hands. So across the world, that's 818 million children who can't get a drink of water and can't wash their hands when they're at school. That doesn't seem very fair, does it? It makes you think about how good things are in this country, that we have clean water whenever we turn on the tap. I think that's something that we should say thank you for. So let's pause for a moment and think about how much water you've used already today. For drinks, I've had several glasses of water and lots of cups of tea. For flushing the loo, I've done that too. And for washing, I've done that. So pause. Think about how much water you've used today. And say thank you. You could say thank you to God for creating a wonderful world full of water. You could say thank you to the people who work in the water treatment plant and the water treatment industry to keep our water clean. You could say thank you to the people at school who keep the toilets clean and the basins clean so that we've got fresh water in school, or for the people that use water in the kitchens to clean your food and to cook your food. You could say thank you to the person at home who pays the water bill. So how about if every time you wash your hands today, you try to remember to say a silent thank you in your head for the water that you're using. And every time you have a drink today, whether it's plain water or flavoured water or even a cup of tea or coffee, you pause for a second and say a silent thank you in your head for that water that you're drinking. Because water is so precious and so important and keeps everything in our wonderful world alive. So I'm going to finish our collective worship with a short prayer. You can join in the prayer by turning down the sound and reading it yourself, Or maybe you could pause and add in some thank yous of your own. Or you could just say Amen at the end of the prayer to say that you agree with it. But if you're not sure about prayer and talking to God, then that's okay. You could think of other ways that you can say thank you for all the water in our world. So let's have a moment of reflection together. Loving God, thank you for water to keep our bodies healthy. Thank you for water to keep our world and everything in it alive. Help us to remember those who do not have clean water. Help us to remember to be thankful for the water we use today and every day. Amen. Thank you for listening. Enjoy your next drink. Peace be with you. Goodbye.